everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Unraveling the Veil with your host, Katie from the yararose.com website. That is YARAROSE.com. You can also follow me on @YaraRoseHealing on both YouTube and Instagram to keep up with what's going on with me. Now let's get to today's episode. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Unraveling the Veil. Today you are in for a treat. I am talking with Keith Cole, the author of Burnout, God's Recovery Plan. I'm so excited for you guys to hear his journey because he, as well as me, has been through a burnout, and this is his story of the whole path. So I'm excited for you to have another example in your life of how trials and tribulations are part of the journey and how you overcome those and how those are this amazing story that can create just so many wonderful opportunities in your life. And then when you figure that out, then you can also go ahead and write a book like Keith did, or you can do a podcast like I did and share your stories with others. And the more we share, the more that we grow together. So welcome, Keith.
Oh, thank you, Katie. It's just really good to be here today. I've been looking forward to talking with you and with your audience. I've learned something over the years, and I've had several years to learn. Most people look like they have it all together.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They're carrying something very heavy. And that was me for a very long time.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Oh man, there's a quote too that's about if some scars are not visible, they're carried on the inside. And it's like there are so many people that you have no idea what they've gone through, but they smile and they put on a brave face and they show up day and day and day.
That's funny with the smiling. There was a time in my life where I'd get someplace I had to hitchhike.
Oh
And
my gosh, that'd be so scary.
it was a different time than it is today.
Yeah.
And I remember one fellow stopped to pick me up and he says, you're not going to have any trouble getting a ride if you just keep that smile on your face like you do.
Oh, that's so
And
sweet.
so I thought that was pretty good, but it hasn't always been a smile.
Well, it hasn't always been genuine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a mask.
Oh, definitely. A lot of time it is a mask. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like, sometimes I'm asked, it says, well, when did your trauma begin? In the Marine Corps? And actually, it wasn't. For me, it started, I was a kid in high school, and my dad was a railroader. So he was, a very strong individual. And at 52, he had a stroke and he died. And leading up to that time as a kid, I was going to be a Methodist minister. I just knew it. It was in my heart. I used to play minister. I would preach to my imaginary congregation that sat on the stairway that led to my upstairs in my house. And Katie, sometimes I'd have to call out a person or two for talking
Oh my gosh, Keith, that's awesome. I love it.
when I'm preaching, right? Tell them to settle down. But at the time when my dad died, being such a strong man, and couldn't have been his fault that he died so young.
Mm.
And so I rebelled against everything I ever knew of in my life. I blame God for it all. My rebellion made it tough to finally get through my senior year of high school. And I went straight into the Marine Corps after that. And the Marines, of course, when I went in, it was the Vietnam War.
Mm.
But I was young, rebellious, and stupid. And so I said, war, oh, that's good, more the better.
Well, to be fair, though, you had all of this anger from your father being taken so young, which I am so sorry. To this day, I'm like, whenever like my parents are to that age now, right? Where it's like all of their parents are gone, their brothers and sisters are starting to pass away. And I'm just like, no, not mine. No,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't take mine. But
yeah.
it's like, I can't imagine being that young and losing someone that was so, it's kind of like Joe Nichols' song, The Impossible, where it's like, your dad was so strong. He was the epitome of good health, strong, caring. How does someone like that, someone so visceral, just no longer be here? And yeah, who do you blame? How do you blame someone that died? So you had all this anger. So I actually think it's a sign of your intelligence that you're like, instead of wasting it on not caring about anything in life and just throwing my life away and doing whatever, I actually want to channel my anger in a good way. by going to war for my country. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That could have
yeah,
went
yeah.
two totally different ways.
That was one way to do it.
Mhm.
My mother didn't appreciate it very much, but
Yeah,
but I mean, who else would I blame? God didn't answer my prayer, and
yeah.
so I just blamed him and went off and did my own thing. And so while I was in Vietnam for 6 months before I got wounded, and sometimes I'll say, and then after that, it was just every once in a while. Um, I'd get wounded again. Yeah,
Just to remind me what it feels like.
yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, right. You get healed, and then all of a sudden, you're getting hit again. But
Here I
yeah,
am again.
yeah, yeah, right. But the third time, it wasn't something that could be taken care of in the field hospital or even on the ship hospital. So instead of like the first two times, then I was sent home. I was medevac, and I went to what was Great Lakes Naval Hospital at the time, and outside north of Chicago, which is no longer there. So, wow. I was there for several months, and then after I was well enough to go back to duty, then I went on what was called I&I duty, which is instructor and inspector of reserves. And we trained reserves. We had a compound. We didn't have a base. We all lived off base, so I had apartments.
Okay.
But the reserves would come in on the weekend, one weekend a month, and then a couple weeks in the summer. But our main responsibility was to notify the next of kin when a Marine was killed or wounded in action. And so by this time, Vietnam, there was a lot of action.
Mm.
We were busy. And for the fallen Marines, we were the honor guard for his funeral. Honorable duty, but it left more wounds that you can't see.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't even know how you show up time and again and do that. After a while, I think it would just eat away at you, seeing all these families go through that over and over again.
My way was drinking. And
Oh, sure.
I spent a lot of nights in the bar. Other people may had a different way,
Mhm.
but I really didn't get over the fact that God let my dad die. So I wasn't the first one in line at church.
That's what I was gonna say, so you went in there because you were mad at God, and then you were in the war, but then you're not active, so at what point, when you're going to these families over and over again, having to deliver the worst news imaginable, how was your relationship with God then? Are you asking him to be along with you to give you strength? Are you still
I,
mad? Like, why did you take another young man or woman?
I didn't have much to say to God at that particular time.
Okay, so you have non-speaking terms?
I, I talked mostly to the bartender,
Oh, okay.
right? And
Yeah. They say they're like the unrecognized therapists.
yeah. There's one particular time in Vietnam, we had made a beach landing. And so the beach landing wasn't like what you see in World War II. And it could have been, but we didn't use an amphibious tractor to go to shore from the ship. Instead, we went by helicopter. And so we leave the ship and we take everything we own. It's on us.
Oh, boy.
So yeah. So you have all your body armor and helmets, and I had a machine gun, and ammunition, and pistol, K-bar, E-tool, all types of stuff, backpack, and, and I was a skinny little kid with an awful lot of weight, and the helicopter doesn't want to land,
Sure.
because they want to go back to the ship.
Mhm.
So
Dangerous.
yeah, so when they say jump, you look there and you say, "You want me to jump where?" It's it's so when you hit the ground, you knew you were there.
I'm sure you felt that for a while.
Yeah. But then we went on and further into the country and started to become dusk, and so we decided we were gonna set up a perimeter, and so started digging my fighting hole for protection, and I get about as deep, I think it's my knees. I hit water. Oh, oh, no. How could this happen? And yeah,
To forget your knees are still throbbing from that jump and your ankles, and now you're like, "Water, really?"
now water. And but then about that time, we start receiving this incoming of rocket rounds,
Ugh.
and it's coming across from the DMZ. I was smoking a cigarette at the time, and I started smoking after my dad died. And at that moment, when this artillery's coming in and I'm smoking a cigarette, and yeah, artillery, when it comes in, it sounds like freight trains crashing into each other. It's so loud. And the smell, of the explosion, you smell the explosion and you hear the shrapnel flying in all directions. So when this was going on, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and I remember I was with a couple buddies. We were in a snack bar. I was still in high school.
Okay.
And being the intellect that I was, I started bragging about my smoking.
Oh, sure.
And I said, I'll probably be blowing out smoke in my last breath. And that thought came to me as this artillery was coming in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I couldn't blow that out of my lungs, that smoking, threw the cigarette away and blowing the smoke out of my lungs as fast as I could to get it all out.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't looking for my last breath
Yeah.
at this particular time.
It's not gonna
And
be today.
at that moment was the first time I ever prayed again
Okay.
because it was coming in and it wasn't nice. So I asked God to forgive me, and I asked for help to survive through this.
Yeah.
And I wasn't wounded on that occasion, but an artillery round hit in the hole where there were two Marines just down from me, and they had a direct hit into a hole with a rocket, which was, of course, devastating.
Yeah.
And we went on from there the next day. That particular night, it just also reminds me of the old adage of, I think it was World War I, where they said, there are no atheists in foxholes.
Yeah, I bet. If there's
That's
ever a time to ask for help, that's it right there. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's how I struggle because I don't know how you get through difficult times like that if you don't have something that you believe in, whether it's considered God or the earth or universe or spirit or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how people get through moments like that without feeling like there has to be something else out there.
Katie, I was a United States Marine,
Hmm.
and they taught us we would get through a night like that.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was something from the day you stepped on those yellow footprints at Recruit Depot, from the very beginning to that, you are a member or going to be a member of the greatest fighting force that's ever been in the world at any time. You're told that, you believe that, and you act it. And you live. It's something that also never goes away. It was go, go, go. From that point on, it was go, go, go.
Okay.
You did what you had to do. And when I got back to the United States, I'm in the hospital for several months. It took a long time to realize that sometime after that, I was on a ward where I was the only non-amputee.
Okay.
Everybody else on that ward was missing a leg or an arm or worse, So after the surgeon checked me out and all that stuff, I was back on the ward, and he came around making his rounds, and he said, well, I think we'll be able to save it. I was an enlisted guy, and I don't know what his rank was. I can't remember. I think it might have been a colonel.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, you would say yes sir, no sir. But I said, huh? It's like,
What?
yeah. I mean, I had no inclination whatsoever that they were thinking about amputating my foot and my leg.
Wow.
And so that was kind of a surprise.
I bet. Oh my God.
But then after that, then I went to duty, and that's when I went on the I did. So many ways that was much more difficult than combat. In combat, I had wounds that, there's wounds from the trauma that you can't see.
Yep.
And then also you had wounds that you can see, right? But on the notification duty and the honor guard duty, those are wounds that you can't see.
Yeah.
It's just more of the same.
Mm.
And then the last year I'm doing that, and I get a phone call from my brother, and he says, my mother is dying and probably wouldn't live through the night. And my mother had cancer. And so, I knew she was sick, and she had asked me if she passed away before my younger brother and sister graduated from high school, if I would take care of them. So, of course I would.
Yeah, yeah. What are you gonna say? No.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, that isn't happening.
Oh, no, not me. I'm busy.
Not it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
But that wouldn't fly very well.
No.
And so my sister was, I think, 13 and my brother 11. I was 23. So I wasn't much more a kid than they were.
Right.
I certainly didn't know too much about taking care of little kids.
Especially that are getting ready to go through those teenage years.
And the
Uh,
teenagers coming in the prom dress and
well, there's just
boyfriends.
so much going on in school, that everybody's their bodies are changing. They don't know who they are anymore. They don't know
Yeah,
what's happening, and you gotta teach them how to drive.
yeah, that's right. So I requested from the Marine Corps for get discharged early, and that happened. And so I was their guardian, and then I had to get a job.
Sure, have the support, yeah.
I went to work in a factory. I got fired and went to work in another factory. And by then I wised up. So before they had a chance to fire me, I quit.
That's awesome.
But I learned to do income taxes. And so I was doing taxes and I knew I had to go to college. And so I finally got into college and majoring in accounting. I worked every day that I went to college, whether it's full time or a part time job. I always had a job.
Oh my gosh.
I had the GI Bill, but also had 2 kids I was responsible for,
Sure.
and that took money too, so
Yeah.
it worked,
Yeah.
and nothing was too difficult
Well, it's
because
pretty remarkable that you could do hold down jobs to support everyone and still go through college at the same time. Like a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that for themselves. They would put off college until their kids are out and, you're not fully responsible for them anymore. So the fact that you could do all of it, that's pretty remarkable.
don't forget, I was a tough guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it speaks to your strength for sure.
That's I'm tough, I could do this,
You can do anything.
and, I had other masks too, I'm not just the tough mask.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get through school, but finally I did graduate, passed the CPA exam, got a job as an accountant, but I always kept my self-employment side of income tax.
Okay.
And then finally I became full-time on my own. And it's something that I'd always wanted, but it has added more to the stress.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot more when you're
Piled,
the owner.
piled on more, right?
Yeah.
And so it was some very difficult days, but also some very rewarding days also, because as a tax accountant, I was good at it and I enjoyed helping people.
Good.
People would come to see me worried about they didn't pay enough or they got a letter from IRS or there was some sort of issue.
Mm,
And so my job at first was calm them down. And so even though they had, some serious situation, I still was able to calm them down. I act like it was no big deal when it was, but I was used to wearing some sort of mask all
here
the
I'm like,
time.
"Was it a big deal, though?" I mean, you've been in the war. I'm sure, like, a little letter isn't gonna scare you, but apparently it does.
A letter from IRS is creates a lot of stress for people,
Yeah, it does.
and it should. They are quite powerful.
Yeah,
But I really enjoyed that, and for a while, I thought, this is definitely a calling. I'm helping people, giving them some mental relaxation from the turmoil they're going through just receiving that,
right.
letter,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
Being self-employed, it was my responsibility. It was my business,
Mhm.
and I want it done my way. And
That's one of the benefits of being self-employed.
yeah. But of course, I'm sure I aggravated the employees, but I put a lot on me that wasn't necessarily, I didn't really have to do it quite the same way, I suppose.
Sure.
But it's like, by golly, we're doing it this way, not my way. And so
Well,
it's,
like, to be fair, though, your whole life, you've had all this responsibility, so that's all you know. So if you didn't, I mean, like, you wouldn't have known not to put so much on yourself. You know what I mean? That's your life. You wouldn't have known any different.
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I could have done anything if I didn't take the responsibility for it.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain degree, I just looking back, I'm gonna have to go overboard, right?
Right, exactly.
But the tough mask and that particular attitude, it's something, I learned at a very young age and going into the Marine Corps and straight into combat. And I knew how to act tough
Mhm.
and I was strong
Yeah.
physically and mentally because I could deal with it to a certain degree
Mm,
until I couldn't.
exactly.
And then that day is inevitable. It comes
Mhm.
and you no longer can take it. The whole time, because, I mean, I had nightmares for a long time. I had sleepless nights. I was cynical, afraid my relationships and my purpose. Everything on the inside was in total turmoil, while on the outside, I kept up a pretty good act.
Mhm. Yeah, but you're hurting. Yeah, I feel like as someone that's suffered through a burnout situation, it's like you do everything you can. You try, you work on paper and on the external, everything looks like you got your stuff together. And I think it's inevitable when you push through all these hard times and all these things and you deny your emotions that at some point this is going to happen. And it's going to get to the point where you can't push through anymore. You physically are not allowed to push through anymore because it's like, no, there's this other part of you and you need to tend to it. And it's hard, very hard.
Yeah, it is. And the thing of it was is that the tough screen that I had, I didn't tell my wife. I woke up in the middle of the night with nightmares,
Mhm.
I didn't tell her people were shooting at me in my sleep.
Yeah, of
Because I'm supposed to be the strong guy.
course.
And like I said, I always put that on. But the time came where I was in my office. It was late at night and everybody was gone. And so I just reached out. I had right here in my left hand desk drawer, I had a bottle of scotch.
Okay.
And I pulled that out and I just had a glass, but I just drink from the bottle. And so that's what I did. I just drank it from the bottle and I put it back down. Well, I started to pick up the bottle again for another drink. That's when I slammed the bottle down the second time. Without drinking, I said, no, I just can't. I can't do this anymore. I can't take anymore.
Mhm.
And then I cried out to God, asking him to forgive me and help me to recover from whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I spent quite a bit of the rest of that part of that night anyway, on the floor with my face in the floor. That particular night, it didn't cure me of anything, but what it did is started the healing process.
Sure.
And so it's not like you read in the Bible about St. Paul getting knocked off his horse by the light and going blind,
Mhm.
and Jesus talks to him about, why are you persecuting me? Not quite that dramatic. Uh, but it was very meaningful to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, you finally reached out, right?
Yeah, it wasn't by willpower, but it was by surrender. And you may guess that Marines don't like to admit to be broken.
Oh,
But,
I can imagine that for sure. It's not really broken, right? It's just I don't even know.
well, it was surrender,
Yeah.
not surrender to an enemy.
Right.
No, we're talking two different things here.
Surrender to a
But it's
friend.
so you're right. It was a surrender to a savior.
Yes.
And I see that definitely as my savior. And I think it really put the faith back. It just truly, I was up on a life of faith from that point on.
Did you have to build it back up though, or is it like instantaneous? I would think that you'd have to kind of build your faith back up after.
Yeah, probably so, because the way I started, I said, okay, what in the world happened these 50 some years?
Yeah.
I started out as this kid with not a worry in the world, just happy as could be. And then all of a sudden, turmoil.
Mhm.
It just began. And then it was one thing after another, for
Yeah.
Pete's sakes.
Yes.
So when my brother called me and I slammed down the phone after talking to him, I said, how much more do
Right.
I have to take?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And I found out I had to take more. So be careful what you ask.
Well, how much longer are you gonna hold out on being strong?
Yeah, well, that too, right? Yeah, I wasn't asking the right questions to the right person. But what happened is I just started writing from that day as a kid growing up and going into the Marine Corps and the things that happened. And so I'm just kind of writing this pretty much to myself.
Mhm.
And as I start doing that, I think, wow, let's see. I remember I wasn't the only one there. You know, there were other people in combat with me.
Mhm.
And Vietnam's not the only war.
Right.
Look what's happened since.
No.
And so it's like, doesn't have to be combat. It's kind of like a smorgasbord. You could take your pick. There's so much different types of way you can define the trauma in
Yeah,
your life.
for sure.
There's so much there.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, if this helps me, I'm sure this is going to help someone else as well. And so I said, okay, I'm going to write this a book. And I said, Well, I don't mind being vulnerable. I don't mind putting myself out there, but I'm not going to say Keith Cole did this and Keith Cole right. Yeah.
Right.
And so, but what I did do though is I took my memories, I took those moments and my pain and my redemption, and I poured those into a fictitious Marine that I named Kevin Casey.
Nice.
And of course, everybody else's name and things that happened are fictitious names as well.
Sure.
And so, being all that fiction, as far as the names go,
Like
but the
only the names.
stories, yeah, but all the stories are true, and it's all my memories, my pain, and my redemption
Yeah.
that's in Kevin Casey.
It's your life story and you're sharing it with others. Oh my God. I love that you're willing and brave enough to be a Marine that said, hey, I want to share my experiences because there are so many other people, and like not just Marines, but like that's who you really think of, right? When you think of those strong men that are not willing to ask for help, because the Army kind of drills that out of them. So it's
Yeah,
so awesome that you're willing to share your story, and who knows how many other people are gonna be impacted by it.
yeah, and that's true. I mean, you don't have to be in the Marine Corps, the Army, or anything else. You don't even have to be a veteran.
Yeah.
There's so many struggles in life that we could all learn from others,
Yes.
right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So everybody has a story.
yeah,
We can learn from that.
I agree.
Yeah.
When I was talking to you earlier, you said that your book was actually picked up by your church, right?
In the church, we have a meditation group.
Okay.
And so the meditation group decided to use my book as their weekly meditation. And so in the book, the last chapter is actually the workbook.
Okay.
The book is 9 by 6. And so the workbook, and it's a thin book, it's only about 100 pages.
Mhm.
So you can use it as kind of a place to check off as you do each step. But I also published a workbook, which is 8.5 by 11.
Okay.
And
Is it
so
like
it's
the
much,
same thing or is it different?
yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
I may have done more explaining of the
Sure.
workbook in the workbook. There's 8 steps. It's simple, but it's powerful.
Mm,
And so it has 8 different steps. It starts with action.
yeah. We don't wanna give all of it away though.
Yeah, but the action is I didn't know when to stop, as far as action, especially being self-employed and having my own business. It's like, I'm going to work, if it kills me, and it probably came close.
Yeah.
But it's a fact of working 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day was very common. Working all-nighters, I used to do once in a while, not so much as I got older, but
Mm.
younger days, it was a thing to do. In tax season, you had to get it done, right? And
Right?
so just work. But put action in there because your action in your day needs to have some sort of common sense to it, some reasonableness, and done with guidance from God. And so when I use that, when I plan my day, I plan it prayerfully. I'll write down 6 different items and put them in order of priority, what I'm going to do for the day. And I do that with prayer. And so I'm going to work on those 6 items in priority. And if I don't get them all done, then they go to the next day.
Okay. And there's
Uh,
no guilt,
but it's plain. Exactly. There's no guilt. There's no
no
uh,
shame.
going off the deep end for not getting everything done or trying to get everything done.
Right. Yeah.
No more midnights.
I love
Yeah.
that.
But so there's 8 different items, and another one is I call inscribing, which is for writing in a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And so there's so much in this world that we can be thankful for.
Mhm.
And so I write in my gratitude journal every day. This has truly become my path to recovery.
Okay, so how did this workbook come about? Is that just came through God? Or is that like how did you come about these different steps?
The 8 steps in it is an acronym for A praiser.
Okay.
And my whole thinking too is to praise God. And so I consider myself a praiser.
Okay. That's cool.
And so I use that. And so that's why I is for inscribing rather than saying writing. A W wouldn't fit in a praiser,
Sure.
right? And the other one is seeing, and seeing is visualization. And a praiser, no V either. So,
Get
so
creative.
make it work, right? Kind of like that. But each one of the steps are grounded in scripture.
Oh, cool.
And so that scripture remains for 1 week. You're going through those 8 steps every day for 7 days a week, and then for the following week, the verses change, and it does that through 12 weeks. I've lost count of how many times I've been through the system, right?
Right.
But what I can say is it builds a discipline.
That's good.
It certainly has brought peace of mind. It was kind of interesting too, is because before that night where I cried out to God in my office, I knew there's something missing, but I just couldn't define it, I think.
Mhm.
And I believe that what I was missing was the peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have peace of mind, then you do have peace of mind.
It's a
Mm.
huge difference.
There's a world of difference, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely that has brought peace in my life. It's brought order. It's brought intention,
Yeah.
because when I sit down and write out what my action is going to be for today, that is intentional
Yeah.
with the other steps too. There's a place to check off as you do it each day. I'm going to count it. I have to have a record. I keep a record.
Sometimes my husband is such a list taker and he just loves crossing them off. Like he feels satisfaction with being able to cross off the things that he needs to do.
Oh, yes.
Don't cross it off for him or he'll be mad. It takes
Yeah,
my
yeah.
satisfaction away.
Yeah, yeah, right.
There are
Yeah.
some people that will really like that you can check off. I did this. I accomplished this. There are
Yeah.
people that,
And, I mean, if you skip a day and it leaves a blank spot there, and you feel that,
yeah,
right?
I bet.
Someone asked me the other day in a meditation class, how many times have you missed doing this in the morning? I said, I don't know. Over the last year, I think I missed once. And the last 2 weeks after that, I missed a day each week.
But it offers you the opportunity to be like, "It's okay," extend yourself some grace and love. "It's okay, I can get right back on track tomorrow."
But the thing of it is, though, it's not a checklist,
Mhm.
but the whole thing is he helping you to walk in the presence of God daily.
Yeah,
And you feel that practice of walking with God
that's
in
awesome.
his presence.
That's so cool. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate this to everyone because it's so cool to me how he started off wanting to be a minister and then he went on this whole journey and then he wrote this amazing book and workbook and now it is in the churches and it's part of their practice. So it's like he got to a similar spot, but he went around it a different way. And I think that is so cool because I think that there's so many times in our lives where it's like, I'm going to be, I don't know, like I really wanted to be a therapist, but then I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. Like, you have to go through a lot of school just to be able to get a job, and I have no desire to go through that much school to do that, but it's been really interesting because that's my journey through energy healing and doing that with even animals, which is so cool. I kind of still get that same similar experience. I'm definitely not a therapist, do not do not say that I am, but it's just very interesting to me to be like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening to them and it's caused by this." It's a similar occupation, but it's definitely not the same, and I enjoy it so much, but it's better than I had intended for myself. And I had to go through this whole journey to get here. So it's just so cool when you believe in something outside of yourself is helping to guide you to still fulfill your heart's desire, but maybe in a different way.
Yeah, the system itself, it's a simple daily activity that it's an anchor,
Yeah,
I
there you
would say,
go. That's
right?
cool.
And it just kept me grounded whenever I felt out of control.
It's like a constant.
Yes.
And yeah, and I think that's intentional. So like for you, it's following the process that you created. And for me, I do cards every morning with spirit. Like I connect with them. I do my cards. And like there are some days where I miss it. Then I feel bad for a little bit, right? Be honest, I miss my cards. And that's like I also feel it's an intentional thing. Like it's a mindfulness thing. I'm going to start my day mindfully so I can reflect this is where my energy is. And then I'm depending on what the results are, I can be like, oh, I'm going to change my energy around that subject because that's not how I want to pursue with my day.
Yeah.
But it's like, but then the days that I do miss it, I'm like, well, it's okay. I saw spirit through this bird that did this amazing thing by landing on my deck and looking at me for this period, or when a butterfly almost landed on me. I still see them, I still feel them. And it's just a reminder that it can be in different ways and just to stay open to that as well and not be so hard on yourself when you don't do it.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Yeah.
It's been awesome talking with you. Is there was one takeaway that you wanted the whole audience to take away about, I don't know, like your experience, your book, or anything? What would that be?
I would say if someone's listening right now that feels exhausted, just know that you're not failing. You're being called to something different,
Oh,
and don't ignore that signal.
I love that. I really love that. That is so awesome. Did you want to let the listeners know where they can reach your book or your workbook if they're interested?
Yeah, everything you can get links to Amazon and other bookstores through my website, which is recoverybyfaith.com.
Perfect.
And the website has resources also. If you take the website, recoverybyfaith.com, and put Keith at, and you can email me if you have something to say or if you want to talk.
Oh, cool. That's nice of you.
You can reach me. There's a contact thing on the website as well. You can reach out.
Awesome.
And I pray for anybody that's experiencing any type trauma and difficulty in their lives. But just because you may be, it's not a weakness.
Yes.
It's not a strength to do it by yourself.
Actually stronger to ask for help if you're asking for my opinion. Because
Yeah.
it takes a lot of strength to be like, okay, this is where I am, and I really could use a hand. It's like a moment of vulnerability. So you're putting yourself out there to get help.
That's such a key is, wow, don't go it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You act like I did when I was a stupid kid. But it's not necessary because you can reach out to a friend,
Mm,
perhaps a family member,
yeah.
anybody you can trust, clergy, therapist,
Yeah.
but truly someone you trust.
Yeah, I would even maybe, oh, not everyone believes in a higher power, but try to, even if you just want to think of your own higher power, your own intuition, just try to even maybe sit with it on it and see like who you feel drawn to talk to. Because there are some people that you may think are good ideas, but they may be so stuck in their own stuff that they're not really able to help you very much. So just be mindful of who you're choosing to go to because you really do need the help and you don't want to go to the wrong person and actually get hurt more by having them
Oh, yeah.
flip it off or invalidate you or gaslight you or, all the different things.
Yeah, definitely. That's where the trust comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You have to trust people because you just have to.
Yes, you do. Well, it has been such a pleasure having you here, Keith. Thank you so much for coming on and speaking with my audience today.
Well, thank you, Katie. I just really appreciate you and all that you're doing with your program here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I wish you the most love, light, and inspiration. With all of my love, Katie.